lot of kids with a homesick view deep down.
So Bella is our third. At the time we were thinking that 2 was enough. We had 1 of each. We had a boy and a girl, and we thought we had life exactly right, perfect. Then Bella was born, and it was at a time when we were quite busy with life, looking after the older 2 children and then having this extra child to come in. We did notice that she was developing quite well. She was hitting her milestones. She was saying words quite early on, and then she just started to fade away. And for a while there, we just thought it was normal, it was okay. Other kids can't talk for a while too. But then we started to suspect that there was something wrong.
I realized that there was something wrong with Bella way before we got the diagnosis. So, you know, as a mom, you have a gut feeling that your child is different in some way. So, you know, that was quite overwhelming and confusing. It was very disheartening because you have dreams for your child, and you know, you go on a journey. Not on a munch. You go on a journey, and you have a certain path, but God wants you to go another way. And so it was hard, but I was always very hopeful. Always very hopeful that God will lead us the right way.
It was, I think, in 2009 when we found out through seeing a doctor that she had autism spectrum disorder. And that was quite devastating. And I remember after seeing the pediatrician that day, holding Bella outside the office while they told Beck more information, holding her and looking at her in my arms while she was sleeping after having a long morning, thinking that I'd never be able to connect to her, that I'd somehow lost all opportunities that I had to get to know her, and at the same time feeling really guilty because there was part of me that said she wasn't meant to be here. We didn't meant to have 3, and now we're paying for that kind of ingratitude, I guess, for having 3. So autism spectrum disorder has 3 main characteristics, and it differs from person to person. That's why they call it a spectrum disorder. With Bella, the first one, which is around inability to socialize with people, I first noticed this when she wouldn't come to me where she used to before. She would find it really hard to be physically close to me. So there's the physical part. There's also where she stopped interacting with her brother and her sister. She didn't play with them as much anymore, and she tended to be by herself. The second thing was around language, ability to speak and speak words clearly. She was speaking words quite well until about 14 months, and the words just disappeared. Add that to the fact that she wasn't socially interacting. We didn't really think much more of it. We just thought that's all part of it. She's just gone quiet. The third one is around isms or mannerisms or self-stimulating behavior. This differs from person to person, but there are common things. One is, for example, walking on tippy toes. Bella did that a lot. Also flapping of hands, that was something she developed much later. There was also the way she played with really small objects, really long objects like a straw or a piece of stick, and she would focus on that for a long time, and she could lose herself in that, and we could just leave her to do other chores and find her in the same place half an hour later. One of the things that I've learned in this journey so far is how what acceptance really means, particularly with regards to other people who are different. I remember as a young person seeing children tantruming at shops, and I used to always wonder why it was so hard to keep them quiet, why parents found it so hard to keep them quiet. And having journeyed with that myself now, it kind of reminded me the idea of acceptance and accepting another person without fully understanding the story and then realizing that their story is just as valid as mine. And I guess autism is just another way of being. Different people have different challenges. and we are accepting of other people's challenges, and yet we find it sometimes quite confronting when you're dealing with an autistic person, with a person with autism, because of their behavior is so different.
We went with the mainstream therapies, the traditional therapies, which was OT, occupational therapy, speech, and what else? ABA kind of therapy. We started doing those things with Bella, and we had this lady that came to do some therapy with Bella at home, and it really didn't sit well with me. We had to check off, how she mastered this skill of completing a puzzle, or looking at us when we called her name. And what I felt was it was more of a checklist, like she was only 20% there, 30%, and they wanted her to be 100% fully being able to do this. And I thought, this is not what it's supposed to be about. I'm losing my child. With a lot of prayer and things like that, I would ask God, Lord, well, which way? And then one night I went on YouTube and I saw this little girl that reminded me of Bella. She was crying and she wasn't looking, and then I watched the 3 parts of the story, and it was only through Sunrise that they reached her. And it wasn't that they had to have her know the alphabet or anything, but they really connected with her. Yeah. I enjoyed the community that it's formed around her, and I enjoy the volunteers that come, and they love not just Bella, but they love the children, we get reminded, and they love the family, and it's not just about Bella, but the attitude and the love just resonates with the whole program, with everybody. So Bella's just brought all these people together, and they're cheering her on. They're really wanting her to do well and accepting her for now, but also believing that she could be this amazing person.
Fall is here, hear the yell, back to school, ring the bell, brand new shoes, walking blues, climb the fence.
My name's Macy.
Hi, I'm Jessica.
My name is Rika.
We are volunteers
of Bella's Walk.
We are volunteers of Bella's Walk.
Walk with me, Susie Lee.
When I'm playing with Bella in her playroom, it's a lot of joining, following all the things that she's interested in. Mainly what we've been doing is lots of joining, so lots of running, jumping, clapping. Bella loves to roll on the ground, and just joining her in every aspect.
So I thank you, Bella, for first of all allowing me to spend the time with you, getting to know you more, where it's just us two together. And I also thank you with your life, how you've allowed me to see God's goodness in you and in your family and in what He's doing with your life to bless others.
Bella, thank you for firstly letting me be your friend, for letting me be a part of your world, and for teaching me how to be patient. Just be in a moment, which I think is really a difficult thing in our world at the moment. Bella, you have shown me how to just be present and to be joyful in all that I do.
Bella, I just want to thank you for allowing me the time to spend with you every week. From the times where we were just drawing for 2 hours the whole time to now sharing tickles and laughing and watching you go to the potty all by yourself. As a mum and as a teacher, you've changed the way I look at children develop, and I appreciate so many more things because of you. She's taught me about myself, and that I have expectations, and that, things are okay. They're going to be okay. And to relax, loosen up. I think that's it. Because she's fine. She's just taking care of herself like we all are.
Knowing Bella has taught me that being a father is really not as simple as some people say. Particularly when you have a child that's not able to show you love the way you expect to be shown love. When you have a child who's not able to show through her actions that she loves you. As a parent, sometimes we feel we're so dependent on getting that affirmation. But what Bella has taught me is just being around her, just trying to see the world through her eyes. I see love. I see her. I see the way she loves the tiny things that I don't see. You know, the way the light plays on a doorknob, for example. It's taught me to love the things that sometimes I take for granted. So she's shown me that. You know, she's taught me how to love in a very different way, to see other people deeper than I've done before. Finally, I think it's also about what I learn about myself, what I value. Sometimes we don't realize that we define ourselves by our families, how good our kids are at school, how many friends they have and everything else. Today, if if Bella holds my hands, that's the greatest thing in the world for me. If she looks at me for more than 5 seconds, that's the greatest thing in the world for me. Really watch. She just waved at the camera.
Really?
Bella, who cannot talk yet, waved at the camera.
But she understands a lot.
So joy and happiness is redefined, and I think more accurately. It's got nothing to do with who I am, that she is the way she is, but I accept her. I'm happy that I have Bella as my daughter.